2025 rămâne în istorie și pentru faptul că Universitatea Politehnică Timișoara a adus pe aceeași scenă 9 speakeri de talie mondială, care au încercat să arunce o privire asupra lumii de mâine și să imagineze cum va fi aceasta modelată de noile tehnologii și în special de calculatoarele cuantice. Una dintre cele mai strălucite minți ale științei contemporane, Michio Kaku, a fost speakerul central al TechTalks by UPT 2025. Absolvent summa cum laude al Harvard și doctor în fizică la Berkeley, Michio Kaku este una dintre cele mai respectate voci ale științei moderne, un ambasador al viitorului în care inteligența artificială și computația cuantică se îmbină pentru a redefini societatea. Speakerul central de la TechTalks by UPT 2025 a vorbit despre cum inteligența artificială, computerele cuantice și neuroștiințele vor redesena complet economia, medicina, educația, dar și aproape toate celelalte domenii în următoarele 2 decenii. Pe scena de la TechTalks a vorbit despre ultima generație de supercomputer, computerele cuantice.
Everything you know about computers is going to be replaced. Digital, all the electronics that we use with computation is going to be replaced by something called quantum computers. Why do we have science at all? For most of human history, humans had no science whatsoever. We didn't live very long. The average person we know lived to be about 30 years of age. You were born, you grew up, had children, and then you died. Life was a But something happened. Something happened after thousands of years of misery, poverty, disease. Something happened 200 years ago. What happened was science happened. And that changed the course of the human race. First, we scientists, we physicists worked out the laws of steam power. So steam was no longer a mystery. Steam was the engine that propelled our society forward. So the first great revolution, we physicists worked out the laws of thermodynamics, the laws of heat, the laws of motion governed by these machines. And then 100 years after that, we worked out the laws of electricity. Electricity, magnetism lit up our cities. All of a sudden we had dynamos. All of a sudden we had generators. All of a sudden we had electricity light up the world. And then after World War II, we invented the transistor. And the transistor lit up our world with the possibility of a new society, a society lit up with the power of transistors. And that was the third great revolution. Now we're in the fourth. We are now entering the fourth great revolution in human history. And that is physics at the molecular level. All of a sudden, we're dealing with molecules. We're dealing with electrodes. We're dealing with artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and biotechnology. This is the fourth great milestone in human history, when we're able to manipulate artificial intelligence. But soon after that comes the fifth wave. The fifth wave of progress is physics at the atomic level. On the upper right, we're talking about fusion power, the power of the atom, harnessed not with uranium, but with hydrogen gas. Why does the sun shine? What lights up the universe at night? It is hydrogen power through fusion that does this. In California, just last year, we attained break-even with the fusion reactor. Soon, in Cardache, France, we will have a competing design. We will have now 2 reactors that are energized by the power of the sun, fusion power. And then in the lower right is what I'm going to talk about today. We're talking about the power of the atom to replace silicon. Silicon has been the engine for the computer revolution, but all things must pass, and what will replace that, we think, could be quantum computers. So we'll talk about this in today's lecture. And then in the lower left, we're talking about the fact that we're now beginning to think about combining the mind to a computer, the ability to expand our mental firepower using the power of a computer. So let's talk about cyberspace. Let's talk about the world that we're entering now and the world that's coming to be. First of all, we're talking about the fact that we can now put intelligence inside your glasses. That our intelligence is not simply limited to a box sitting on your desk. We can carry it with us, and we simply blink. We simply blink and access the power of the internet. So these goggles represent our ability to access unlimited knowledge. And in the future, designers of cars, furniture, appliances, will simply think and design things right there in front of them. So no pencil and paper, they just wave their hands, imagine the car of the future, and there it is in cyberspace. Now that is an image. There's nothing there, of course. There's nothing there but the image of the car being designed by future designers. And on the right is the future of art. Art was first done by people harnessing the power of rocks. Today, we can now dream about the fact that in the future, our descendants will simply think and create designs right in front of themselves. And how will we access this power? We will blink and we'll be online.
Ediția din 2026 a TechTalks by UPT va avea loc în luna mai și va avea ca temă interacțiunea dintre oameni și viitor.